Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Joining us today, for the last 70 years, we know that St. Luke's Health has given rise to some of the biggest medical breakthroughs in history. The health system started in 1954 and is known now as Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center. Since then, its growth to 8 inpatient hospitals in Greater Houston, from Spring to Lake Jackson. We are happy to welcome Michael Lawson, who is the president. He's the Houston market president of St. Luke's. So thank you so much for joining us today and our longstanding partnership with you and your team.
Thank you as well. It's an honor to be here. And I would just like to say that St. Luke's Health is a big supporter of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And I'm just excited to really speak with you as well as communicate with the community.
Well, thank you so much. And I know recently you all were our underwriter for the big luncheon and expo in Houston with approximately 2,000 attendees. And we were happy to promote the great work that you all do in our region. And again, we thank you for supporting business in this great city.
Thank you. I'm very excited. I just wanted to share with you that we have a great partnership with Baylor College of Medicine and our physicians. And I think it brings a lot of powerful access to care from a network standpoint because our physicians are so well known nationally. And I'm just excited that it'll be part of the Houston community to have access to in terms of all our patients.
Yes. And speaking of patients, of course, high quality, you're earning all types of accolades for this work. Share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so first I'd like to start by saying that Baylor College of Medicine and St. Luke's Medical Center is very well known for their quality of care. And I think that's important because I believe the patients deserve high quality of care and safety. And some of the accolades really begin with our cancer care. And we have a very well-known Dan Duncan Cancer Center, which is one of the top in the country. We have an NCI designation, and there's only 3 cancer centers in the state of Texas with this designation. And Common Spirit has over 150 hospitals. And here in Houston, our cancer program is the only NCI designated within the entire Common Spirit health system. So we're really, really excited about that. Some escalates that we are really proud of that are connected to quality. So we're ranked in News World Report as one of the top hospitals in the system within Common Spirit, but also across the nation. Also, CMS and Leapfrog has rated us related to high quality. And we have several hospitals that receive a grade A, but we also have several hospitals with a grade B. Any of those scores clearly indicate a high rating and quality, and we truly believe that's very important to our patients.
Yes, and certainly we applaud that, and how fortunate we are here in Houston to have you all making sure that you're taking care of patients. What else do you want folks to know about the work that you all are doing at St. Luke's?
Well, we have been nationally known. For example, we have a cardiovascular program, and this program made national news back in, I believe, 1968 by performing the first open heart transplant. And in addition to that, we also were the first to perform an artificial heart transplant. And in addition to that, we performed a valveless artificial heart for patients with end-stage heart failure. So this had never been done, and we're the first to do it. So we're really, really proud of that, but we're also proud of our neurology program, as well as, again, our oncology program, as well as our transplant program. These are some of our, I believe, competitive advantages in the market, and we're very proud of it.
As you should be. And certainly it's a warm welcome back to Houston to you, Michael. We're so excited to have you re-engage in our great city. And so just briefly tell folks a little bit about yourself, because so much of the success is the great team that you have in place every day. But it's certainly kudos to great leaders as yourself. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Michael.
Well, thank you for those kind words. And I'm glad you called out the team, because no leader is successful without a great team. So I first want to give kudos to all the great teams that I've worked with across Ohio, as well as here in Houston, Texas. But I'm originally from Ohio. I worked at the Cleveland Clinic for 24 and a half years, started out as an X-ray tech and worked my way all the way up to become Vice President of Cancer Services and then Vice President of Hospital Operations. I then moved on to an organization called Ohio Health. There, I was able to become the market president in 2017, and that experience allowed me to land an opportunity here in Houston. Now, I came to Houston 2 years ago because I have family here in Houston. So I purchased a home here 2 years ago, not realizing that an opportunity would open up at Common Spirit within Houston. So when I saw the opportunity, I thought it was a good move for me. And, you know, they say sometimes the grass is not greener on the other side. Well, it's greener on the other side. And I'm so honored to be part of Common Spirit, Baylor College of Medicine, and St. Luke's Medical Center. But most importantly, here serving the community of Houston, because it's such a big opportunity for us to improve access to care, reach more lives, and save more lives. So I'm just honored to be part of it.
We are honored to have you all as one of our corporate partners. Michael, to you and your team, thanks for all you do, and we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Some of medicine's greatest advancements look like they're out of the latest sci-fi. Others were developed spending countless hours in a lab, or push the limits of what technology can do. And yet, one of our most powerful tools is something far more simple, more human. It's a calling to connect with purpose and to care more deeply. That's how we're evolving healthcare, by treating people, not just patients, with innovations that amplify healing, with technology that empowers more personalized care, and with research that leads to breakthrough treatments. Guided by the belief we all hold the power to heal.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Happy to have one of our newest corporate partners on this call today. Joining us is the CEO of the company, which is so important to us, is Access Sciences, and he's going to tell you all about what they do and why it's important to you and your business. On that note, Steve, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, thank you for having me, Laura. Just very happy to be here and happy to represent Access Sciences as a member of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Well, thank you so much. And I know we had your team at the largest business luncheon and expo recently, and you all had your expo and we're meeting with a lot of different people and different businesses. So thank you for that. But maybe some folks have not heard of Access Sciences and what you do. So why don't you tell them?
Okay, so the headline basically is that we're a management consulting firm, an information management consulting firm that transforms a company's information chaos into business clarity. And what I mean by that is this. In any kind of a company, a government agency, a nonprofit, any kind of an organization, the vast majority of information that people deal with is that chaotic, free-form stuff that we call unstructured information content. You know, it's the Word documents, the Excel spreadsheets, it's the audio files, the video files, the emails, the PDFs, engineering drawings, all that stuff that doesn't fit nicely into databases. That's our realm. And what we do with that is we help our clients gain control of that unstructured content and transforming it into an asset so that they can make better decisions and gain insights into their business and just ultimately meet their business objectives. And we do that by creating the technical, the people, the process, infrastructure that allows that information to be organized and controlled. And then with that in place, we also provide managed services where we can manage an information-centric portion of a client's business and manage the information through its life cycle so that the client can focus on what they do best.
Exactly. And so having said that, we know that the business world in your space is ever changing. So what are some of the things that are changing, and what are you all doing about it so that you can help support your clients?
Yeah. So change is not new in the world of information. It is it's always changing. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year as a company. And 40 years ago, we were dealing with information in a much different way than we are today. Back then, it was a lot of paper documents. And over that time, we evolved into electronic documents. But what's been happening really recently, for one thing, is just the volume of that content is exploding. I find it fascinating that if you take all the information that's been created in the past 2 years, anywhere in the world, any kind of digital information, that is more information than has been created in all of human history up until 2 years ago. So we've, in fact, it's probably 4 to 5 times more information than all of other information up to that point 2 years ago. So that's one thing that's happening. It's just the volume of information that people have to gain control on. The second thing that's happening is that the way that information is stored, manipulated, used is getting more sophisticated. A good example of that is, say, engineering drawings. Back in the day, we used to deal with the paper blueprints, the actual blue pieces of paper with the engineering drawings on them. And that evolved into computer-aided design, CAD drawings, which are electronic digital versions of these drawings. And more recently, that has evolved into something called building information modeling, which is now starting to take advantage of how a lot of information is related around the engineering drawings. So it's not only the 3D versions of the electronic CAD drawings, but it's also the materials that are used in it, and the schedule and cost materials, and facilities management data, and all that being integrated. So the relationships among information is getting more sophisticated. And then finally, the thing that everyone's hearing about now is artificial intelligence and machine learning and how that's exploding. In the world of information management, and particularly in unstructured content like we deal with, that's particularly coming true with what's called these large language models, things like ChatGPT, that can now go into your information and pull out summaries of information or extract content information. Or AI systems that are really getting better at understanding the relationships among information and the context of that information. So that's the exploding world today. It's primarily around artificial intelligence.
And what is the opportunity, you think, as it relates to AI?
There are, you can't go to a conference these days without there being some topic on artificial intelligence, right? And there are really no lack of ideas about how AI can be used. I'm finding an interesting phenomenon, though. As I attend these conferences and listen to these topics on AI, everyone is talking about how AI is coming, AI is exploding, you need to use AI in your business. And everyone's got ideas on how that can be. But when I look around the room at the people listening to this thing, these talks, I'm hearing one common theme, and that is, yeah, I know AI is coming, but I don't know what that means for me yet. I can't picture it for me. And so what do I do with this knowledge about AI coming? And at Access Sciences, we think that one of the important things that you should be thinking about before you even think about what do I do with AI, and that is, how do I get ready for AI? There is so much to be done to be AI ready. And if you're not AI ready, it's not going to matter that you have AI tools. And there are so many things you can be doing to become AI ready. You need first to get your your technical ecosystem in order. The systems that store your information, your content, that's what the AI systems and the AI models are going to be hitting against. They're going to be going into your content and pulling information out and helping present it in new ways to you. But if that infrastructure is siloed, you have lots of information in lots of different places, they don't talk to each other, it's going to make it hard to do that. So one of the first things that a company really ought to be doing is figuring out how to get those repositories talking to each other, somewhat connected, or have the ability for something to connect all these repositories. And then you've got the content that sits in these repositories. And what can you be doing to get that ready for AI? One of the things you can be doing is to start automatically using AI itself to automatically classify your information so that you can tag it with information that will then make it easier for AI to use that information. So there's AI techniques for automatically classifying information. Also, you should be thinking about converting your legacy documents into AI readable documents. Some documents are not easy to read by AI. And a good example of that is PDF documents that have been scanned using OCR, optical character recognition. Those systems are notoriously bad about making messy results that are hard to read. So there are AI technologies that can go in and read those PDF documents, pull out the text, look at documents that are in multiple columns with photographs interspersed in between them, and pull it out in a way that makes it digestible into an AI system. And then the last thing is to start building what's known as knowledge graphs around your information. These are connectors that link the relationships among information. A good example that people might be able to relate to is the movie database, IMDb. If you ever go into IMDb and you want to look up a movie, you can find a movie and you can see who all the actors and actresses are in that movie. And then you can click on that actor or actress and you can see all the movies they've been in. Then you go to a movie and you say, where was this filmed? And you find the filming location. Then you say, well, what else has been filmed here? And it'll tell you all the different movies that have been filmed there. It can do that because all this information has been linked through a knowledge graph. And so if you can do that to your information, it's going to make it a lot easier for AI systems to use. And then finally, the last thing, probably the most important thing to be AI ready, is really to put some kind of governance policies in place to oversee the safe and ethical use of AI. Start by creating an AI governance committee that looks at things like usage policies. What is an appropriate way to use AI? What's an inappropriate way to use AI in my company? If you're going to be using your information content to train AI models, how do you make sure that you're not biasing the results with bad information? Can you create explainable models so that when AI does something, it's explainable about why it came up with the information, so you've got some comfort that it's coming up with good results? And then finally, oversight of just the overall ethical usage of AI. Am I using it for an ethical purpose? So these are all things that can be done before you even begin to put a tool in place.
Yes, and also it can be done with the support of Access Sciences. So just why we have you on this program is to say that you all have been doing this for a very long time. You work with very large corporations and businesses, quasi-governmental, et cetera. And so for more information, visit their website. Again, it's Access Sciences, Information Technology, and so much more. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for the Hispanic business community. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our board and staff for making sure we elevate business and advocate for a stronger economy.
Hello. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Our long-standing partners at AT&T have been phenomenal in terms of engaging with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and more importantly, with the community, whether it's on the consumer side, the community side, you name it. They are present, they are innovative, they are ahead of the game in terms of looking for opportunities to make sure that you are connected and that you stay connected. Joining us today, he's back in Houston and we welcome him, is Adrian Quintanilla, and he is the Vice President, General Manager, South Texas for AT&T. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Laura. And first and foremost, let me just say it's such a pleasure to get to be on your show. Admire so much of what you and the Houston Hispanic Chamber are doing to really impact favorably our community. So really, really impressive work and thrilled to be here.
Thank you so much, and to you and your entire team for your active engagement in Houston. We see AT&T everywhere, as should be expected by such a huge corporation with people who care about this city. So let's get started. Some of the great things that you are doing in terms of staying connected is with consumers. Tell me what you're doing in that space, please.
Well, first and foremost, Laura, we are out to make sure that we are America's best connectivity provider. And that starts with a great network experience. And when you think about experience with our customers, I like to start with network because when it comes to Houston network, we've been very, very privileged to get to invest over $2.1 billion into this community. And that's important because that investment is going into a fiber internet. It goes into our 5G wireless voice and data services. It also goes into our FirstNet services. And not many people may know about FirstNet, but FirstNet is the only network that is authorized and approved by the FirstNet Authority, a government organization, to ensure that we're providing the world-class service that we need to for our first responders during emergency services. But when you think about fiber internet, I mean, think about that. Think about how many connected devices you have in your home today. Probably on average upwards of 20, right? You think about you're thinking about your watches, your tablets, your mobile devices, your smart televisions, etc. Fiber internet really is internet upgrades everything. And what it does is it makes sure it's advanced, latest, greatest technology to ensure that all of your needs at home for internet are met, but more importantly, Laura, for the future as well. You take that and then you say, okay, well, what about speeds? Well, it's symmetrical speeds. And all that means to people is you get just as much quality and speed dependency when you upload that great content or you download your favorite content, etc. But moving beyond that, let's take a look at the 5G wireless voice and data services, right? This is coverage that covers more than 99% of Americans. This covers rural areas. It covers suburban areas, it covers inner city areas. And so when you think about important places in Houston, like the Toyota Center and other popular places where our community goes to enjoy events, we're talking about that kind of service to be able to cover that. So we're very, very proud of this network. And regardless of which connectivity or connection that you are on, I mean, it's all backed by the AT&T guarantee, which basically says, look, we want to make sure you've got the connectivity that you deserve, the deals that you would expect, and the ability to get prompt, friendly service when needed. And we stand by that. It's an industry standard. It's an AT&T guarantee.
Well, and we know in Houston, every now and then we experience a hiccup called a hurricane, some type of natural disaster, if you will. Unfortunately, tell us the things that you all are doing to make sure we're ready for those events.
I'm so glad that you brought this up. As you know, we're approaching hurricane season. We're right in the middle of some of the storm season. And as we well know, I mean, Houston is a resilient city and we get better and better every year. We have over 30 years of experience in these type of large scale events. And so we know what it takes to prepare and ensure that we not only restore, but maintain connectivity during events. And so some of the things that you would expect AT&T to do first and foremost is ensure that we are working with state and local agencies as we prepare for these major events. And so our team, we have what we call FirstNet liaisons, who are sitting with some of these agency department employees at their operations centers, making sure that the AT&T network is where it should be during these events. We also make sure that our cell sites have the appropriate backup batteries ready to go. We have fuel generators in strategic locations ready to go. One of the first things that we introduced during Hurricane Beryl last year was a new vehicle or a new vehicle in our fleet, which is our mobile connectivity center. What I love about this one, Laura, is you will recall, remember how hot it was last year? And as energy was coming back up, think of this mobile connectivity center as a 48-foot trailer that is operated off a generator that first and foremost has air conditioning, where community members can go. We worked with the county last year in key locations where we brought this. So air conditioning, they've got access to 16 different laptop computers in there so they can come in, access the internet, contact friends and family. If they need to charge their devices, we've got a charging station in there. I'll never forget walking into one of these last summer and not only feeling comfortable myself walking into the trailer, but also seeing just the relief on our community members' faces when they were in there, just to be able to communicate, connect, and just enjoy their time in there. So those are things that we do. We also have advanced technology as well. So say, for example, I talked about the FirstNet network earlier. We can do what we call our flying cows. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's an acronym. It is a cellular on wings. Think about a cell tower on a drone, Laura, where if you needed to get cell service into an area that would not otherwise be able to be serviced by a tower, or maybe it's got connectivity problems, but we can ensure that we've got that kind of technology that we can bring into areas. We have what we call satellite SATCOs. These are cellular on trucks where we can get satellite communication, cellular communication into the appropriate areas. And so serving and ensuring that we have this kind of technology for our first responders is very important. And again, we've done this for several years now. It's important that we stay connected. We get better and better every year with the community, and we're thrilled to be able to serve that with, again, the network with AT&T.
And alongside with all of the things you mentioned, and I'm sure so much more, is your investment in the community with chambers of commerce such as ours, with schools, with seniors, with senior citizens. Again, such an important part of the work that you and your team do in our greater region.
Yeah, that's right. I'm glad you brought that up. It goes way beyond. While network connectivity and advanced technology is at the heart of what we do, look, we are residents in Houston as well. And so it means connecting with the communities. I'm a Houstonian. I and 2,100 other AT&T employees call Houston home. And so it's important for us to ensure that if Houston does well, we all do well. And so one of the things that we're very passionate about is bridging the digital divide. And what that means essentially is the gap between those who have access to the online world and perhaps those that don't, that we're able to bridge that gap. And some of the ways that we do this are investing in things that we call connected learning centers. And in these connected learning centers, Laura, is phenomenal, because what you can do there is take an investment, put in a connected learning center in neighborhoods that might otherwise have underprivileged communities, and now provide laptops, now provide computers, now provide Wi-Fi for students and seniors to be able to come and get access to important online resources. And so we've got over 50 today. We're committing to another 60 by 2027. We have $2 billion invested into that already, and we pledged another $3 billion by 2030. That's important for our community, because some of those initial learning centers were here in Houston, for example, at the First Tee of Greater Houston. And the other thing I would say about the bridging that digital divide, Laura, is the fact that giving students access to laptops has been big. We've distributed over 2,500 laptops to students in the Houston community. We were celebrating an event last week, for example, with some of our high schoolers who were committing to their college decision day. Some of those students, while they were declaring the universities they were going to be going to, didn't have a laptop. So we were privileged and pleased to get to be able to share some of that equipment with them for their successful career journeys.
Well, thank you so much for all that you and the team at AT&T do for our region. We appreciate it, and thank you for the collaboration with the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Thanks a bunch. We'll see you soon.